welcome to our YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about death. At some point, I know we fear death. At some point, we fear being bereaved. At some point, we fear hearing things to do with death. Now, today we're going to talk about death. Why should we embrace death as we live our daily lives? Today, my guest is here, and we're going to talk about much more on that.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation once again. And as we supposed to start tonight, many people are facing grief in their lives. At one moment or another, each person as a human being suffers some loss. And the world terms it the loss. So and so has lost this one, so and so has lost the other. All losses in life are not easy to go. It is a fact and a dark reality that as we are grown up and we are here in the world, at one moment or another we feel depressed by the reality of death, we feel angered, and most people wonder later, why was I angry? Why was I not accepting this happened? Why was I bargaining within myself? And all these realities, or at one moment or another, people come and feel like, was I really me? Was it me? What happened to me when I lost my brother, or my father, or my mother? The reality surrounding death is a difficult one to face in the whole humanity, because we have been cultured to be alive. We have not been cultured on how to die. The education system, the upbringing, it's a rare topic. Your mother will not sit with you somewhere and tell you, when I die, this, you're like, Mama, I will not die tomorrow.
It's a bad omen.
It's a reality that most of us want to escape. But as a reality of life is, the only guarantee we have as human beings is that we shall die. Call it back 1,000 years, 200 years, 100 years. We will not see somebody 400 years old in the world today. Meaning that all life is going to the grave, all life. So the procession of life is, it's always changing to another reality. Let me take you back before you were born in your mother's womb. The life is there. And this life there is just pumping, moving around. But again, slightly, it's not aware of outside world. And when a baby is born, the first thing they cry.
Yes.
Yeah, the world looks hostile to them. It looks unnatural for them. They are used to the comfort zone in the mother's womb. The same thing also, processing from this life, the earthly life, once you are comfortable with it, the nature of man is to enjoy the reality is in. You become comfortable and you want to remain where you are. We rarely want to take another risk to go another place. And so any separation can be termed as death. So when people ask, what is death? The best definition is, it is a separation. Separation from what it is to some other reality. And that's why when our beloved die, they go to the mortuaries. When their beloved die, they are buried in the graves. They are burned, some people burn the bodies, cremation and so on. Because it's a separated reality. The existence here is no longer in touch with us. But there is an illusion that death is real. Death is real only if it means a separation and a transition. But if death means an end to something, then it is not true. The reality of life is always in constant change.
Yes.
Philosophy will tell us that everything changes every day. And we exist in one condition today, tomorrow we are another. The reality of our growing from a small kid, we keep on changing, and life is never stuck.
True.
So the changes occur in the physical body that is no longer functional in its reality. The heart is not beating, the brain is no longer working, and the doctors will say this is clinical death. And people will say at home, okay, the body is no longer of any use, so we separate it, withdraw it, we burn it, we cremate it, whatever people do. This separation does not mean an end, but it means, yes, an end to a certain existence.
Yes.
But religion and the reality of being is life processes on. It processes on. So in the journey of procession from being, we discover that we come from lesser desired to a better desire. A kid in the stomach is less functional, less strong, less able to do anything.
True.
But as he grows up, he becomes more useful by day. Though the reality of life as you age also become less productive, now it's like the signing off to another life. So if even the coming to being here, a seed to a tree, then a tree back to a seed. The position of things in life naturally shows that it wants to produce a better existence. So man and woman, we shall face death. This is the only guarantee we have. So we better learn from onset, how do we face our reality? The real thing is human beings die. And because death will come one day or another, how do you and I prepare to face death, be it of our own or of our relatives or friends or people we know? Because the only rubber stamp in your life you have is you shall die. When a child is born, you don't know whether he'll become a teacher, he'll become a doctor, he'll become a journalist like you. You don't know what a child will become.
True.
Whether he'll become mad, normal, maybe the body will be able to walk or not, deaf, blind. Nobody knows what the child will become. But each parent is aware. If it does not protect that child will die. So please take care of that kid. No, he's getting cold. Have you feed the child?
Yes,
Do that because we are trying to protect against death. So how comes from birth death is following us, but we never befriend it? The fear of death means the fear of living. And that's why many people are not comfortable traveling. They're not comfortable doing anything new because I might die. I might be affected by this and that. These realities make life less sweet. So man and woman, they are invited from birth to deliberate the changes they'll undergo. And I remember every stage of life, you just like saying bye-bye, you know? Bye-bye childhood, bye-bye adolescence, bye-bye youthfulness. It's every moment you're doing this until bye-bye the world. So how comes we never be ready for death? Is because human mind specifically dominates the body. We have been dominated by intellect. And the intellect want to assume certain unpleasant feelings. So since death seems to bring unpleasant realities in us, man want to shelf that. And because we shelf that, when it comes with a stench. And that's why when your beloved dies, you say, no, it's not dead. No, it's not dead. So dead. No, so I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It's the first thing we respond because it was one of the unpleasant things we shelved when we were growing up. Then sometimes after somebody has died, you find, no, why did he die? Why this? There's that thing that comes into your brain. This denial is the first stage of grieving. And it's normal. When you find somebody doing that, I can't believe this, allow them to do that. Because they are going through a process of bringing something they didn't want to listen to in their life, they didn't want to conceive, and now it's here. It's a shocking reality.
So we should let people grieve.
Yeah, we allow them grieve.
should cry.
And they have those steps. They'll start by denying this and that. Doctor, no, my dad is not dead. Oh, doctor, no, this is not that. They'll have that denial. Then after that, they'll be angry with everyone. If so-and-so was here, maybe, if I'd gone to the hospital early, if so-and-so, supposing that plane, supposing that car, they start being angry with things. That pilot was not even serious. That doctor was not even careful. So there will be anger after denial. And then now you have discovered true, maybe somebody's taken to the mortuary or something. There's now anger in you. If my dad had done this, maybe my mom, if my brother had done this, you see, that anger manifest is a grieving process. So
are you trying to say when people are grieving, we should not tell them, sorry, we understand, sorry, I know what you're going through?
You can never understand what they're going through. You can never know.
Because that is what normally happens.
Yeah, this is the problem with people. They want to assume that they know what you're feeling. How you feel about one dead person is not the same way you feel about another. Our attachments to people, which is somehow wrong also, allows us to grieve differently. You may expect a mother to grieve the husband, but he may grieve the daughter instead, or the son more than the husband. The feelings are never mutual. So you can't say, no, what is happening to you? Why? The drama in the mind of a person is different from one person to another. One person will be doing all the processes in 10 minutes. He is having anger, denial, he's bargaining, and it's done. Another person may take some days. Then we discover that after some moments, this person who was in denial, no, my daughter is not dead. Then he was angry with the daughters, everybody around them. The next day they start bargaining. What if I do this? What if I had done that? This bargaining is, what will my life be? Supposing that.
Yeah.
You find them, they are utter confused. When we're burying this, I'm not sure. Will you go to? No. The bargaining comes in their lives because they want to face a reality they're not much aware. And this bargaining leads many people to depression. Who will pay my bills? Who will do this? Who will do that? So they are bargaining within themselves. What will my children, they go to school again? What will happen to my bills, my house? So when they are bargaining in their lives, because of the place the person played, if he's a spouse, there's a place, he's playing a kid.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
the
they are
person is
hopeful.
a breadwinner.
Yeah. So this bargaining leads to the fourth stage of grieving, which is depression. So you find them depressed. They're not able to eat. They're not able to sleep. Some of them will just break down over some things. The unfortunate thing is many people who grieve do not move beyond depression. Some will bury their relative, but 10 years they are still in depression. Why? Because somewhere maybe they are so consoled by someone, or they have a lot of expectations. Maybe they thought something will happen on the way. So unless they are able to manage depression, they will never accept the death. So you find somebody 5 years from now is still blaming their father's death. If my father had not died, if my mother, why? Because they never move beyond depression. So now relatives and friends should come at the stage of depression. Let them deny, let them bargain, let them be angry with God, with people. We should come in at depression. When somebody now is withdrawing from people, is not willing to eat, is not doing this and that, friends should come here to support them move out. Sometimes they come too fast. And so this person does not go through the grief. 15 years from now, the person will still be grieving because he was not allowed to go through the stages. And our problem is when also you're left in depression for long, you never associate life with joy. The last stage now is acceptance. People will accept death, and sometimes is the beginning of their new reality. I think there's nothing more to be done. I think we did our best. I think he's happy wherever he is. I think this and that is happening. At this level of acceptance, it may take a few minutes for some people, few hours for others, few days for somebody else. It depends from person to person experience. So death is a reality that we shall face. St. Paul in the letter to Philippians chapter 1 verse 1 says, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." We need to open our reality to believing on the goodness that death brings. Death liberates man from circles of pain and struggles. Many of us believe in heaven. Many of us believe in God. So if God is the ultimate goal of life, why are we scared to meet him? If God is the giver of everything that is good, why are we scared to go to where the goodness is? So St. Paul will tell us to die is gain. Gain meaning there's that perfection in God. So there'll be perfect family in heaven. Think about your relatives before you're born. There are so many in heaven that they are here in the world. You know, from those millions of years ago, there are so many friends who are in heaven than who are here. So there's a bigger family in heaven. There's a bigger home in heaven. All of us are looking for a home. This home we have can burn from fire. The home we have can be looted by thieves. But we are saying of a better home Jesus promised them. In John chapter 14, he'll tell them, "I'm going to prepare a home for you." So Christians in particular were not afraid of death for a long time. But consumerism and capitalism has made us possess things in the world. And as life seems to be easier here, we tend to cling to things. So what makes death difficult is the relatives and friends have made people capitalistic. People see you in terms of what you provide. They see another in terms of what they give, either consolation, you're going to see your grandma, or this and that. We have not allowed people to live their cycles of life. We want to live inside them. So when they die with us. Or some of them live inside us and it has made us bosses of their lives. So when they die also we feel like we have lost some slave. Somebody who was always daddy, mommy, do this, to that. We should discover that we are here purposely because God wants you to be here. And when God wants you to be moved from one position to another, it is God's will and doing. Allow me to talk something about, are the dead interested with us? You know, there are people saying, "Oh, my mother comes to me, my brother comes to me." To come to you means the dead are intellectuals. they still have the body. To be intellectual, we need the body. We need the brain. So the dead do not recognize us.
But even Jesus came back to the
He's
disciples.
God. He's God. This is the difference. Jesus is God, and God with us is Emmanuel. Christ in the earthly form was man. He died and buried. At that moment, he was in the grave. At the resurrection, he assumes a new reality. He brings back his divinity. And to assure his brothers and sisters, he will come and he will pass through walls because of his divine nature. Our dead are not intellectuals after death. It means the brain is gone. What we know is what we have gathered. Somebody taught you about this, taught you about that, taught you about the other one.
Traditions.
Told you this your mother, told you this your dad, this, that.
Yeah.
Upon death, the mind and the brain is gone.
But
So,
the spirit moves.
the spirit moves, and the spirit is not interested in the living. And the spirit is about the spiritual reality. And the spirit is taken. It's not going on its accord. It's taken to God. And that's when we talk of going to heaven to be resting in peace, or being in damnation in hell, or being in purgatory. Because God has decided the destiny of the next reality. So the spirit is not interested with the matter. We are the ones who knows this is a friend, this is the other, because we have the brain. Even today, if you go on a coma and come back, they have to introduce to you friends. This was your mom, this was this, because the brain forgets it. You lose everything in your mind. So the reality of, somebody came to me to do what? They are not interested with you. As soon as the reality says it's dead, it's a procession. There's no way a child will be visiting the mother's womb to see how the mother's womb looks like. Once you came out of it, you came out of it. Once you go out of the body, you go out of the body. The reality of the matter is no longer important to you. And so the spiritual reality is so good and busy for you that the physical reality is no longer your business. And that's why, if you read in the Bible, for example, there was the rich and the Lazarus. When they died and they went to, Lazarus went to the bosom of Abraham, and the rich was in hell. Says, Father Abraham, send that Lazarus to my brothers. Why didn't he go himself? Because the reality was, Abraham said, there's a gap between us and you. You cannot come this side, you cannot come this side. The same thing, they cannot return to the living. Because by the fact that you are called by God, then it means your earthly life is ended. Your business here is done. So your business is done here, you are moved to another destiny. And so this is the beauty of us understanding that we can cope with grief. We can cope with losses. But how will we do this? We need to liberate our life to know life is not our own. This is a gift given for a time being, for a season, and transformation will surely come. Once you discover you are mortal, then you'll be happy to know that mortality is changed to immortality. And that is the beauty of death, that there will be end and there will be new beginning. So death is a marker of the end of this other life and the marker of the beginner of another existence.
It's a tough topic. It's a scary topic. I know most people would want to know how these things happen. But I believe maybe we should continue the same episode next time. But we should start from how we know if someone is depressed, especially during the bereaving moment. Thank you very much for subscribing. But if you've not, please do subscribe because we have so much to share with you.